Chioma Victor. The news in full. The two leading opposition parties on Sunday called on the federal government to make good its promise to release 102,000 metric tons of assorted grains as a short-term measure to address the food crisis in the country. In two separate interviews, the leadership of both the Labour Party and People's Democratic Party urged the President Bola Tinubu-led administration to redeem itself by following through on its promises, noting that the government had failed to keep previous promises. The federal government had last Thursday announced plans to release 42,000 metric tons of maize, millet, garri and other commodities from the National Strategic Grain Reserve. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Idris Mohammed, who disclosed this, said the federal government also reached an agreement with the Rice Millers Association of Nigeria to release 60,000 metric tons of rice. The measure by the government followed spreading protests by Nigerians over the high cost of living and rise in the prices of foodstuffs. Away from that, we move right now to Bayelsa State, where the governor, Doyide, reclaimed on Sunday that God used last year's governorship election, which he won on the platform of the People's Democratic Party, to rescue the state from a cabal. According to him, the cabal had been misleading the people and they viewed the state as their personal estate. They spoke at a Thanksgiving service held at the Ecumenical Center Ibogene to commence the activities for his second-term inauguration with his deputy, Lawrence Eruajabo, on Wednesday, February 14, 2024 in Yenagoa. Diri was re-elected at the November 11, 2023 governorship election, polling a total of 175,196 votes to defeat his major opponent, Timipra Silva, of the All Progressives Congress, who scored 110,108 votes. In Anambra State, specifically Oraifite, the Sir Emeka Offor Foundation has distributed 40,000 bags of 50 kg rice to widows in about 179 communities across Anambra State as part of its corporate social responsibility to help the needy. Also, textbooks and other educational materials were distributed to over 200 schools across the state by the foundation. The Anambra State Governor, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, former Senate President Kenan Namani, and former Inspector General of Police Solomon Arase were among the dignitaries that witnessed the distribution of the items, which was also used to celebrate the 65th birthday of the founder of this foundation, Sir Emeka Offor, in Oraifite, Ekwusigo local government area of Anambra State on Saturday, specifically at the weekend. Soludo, who commended Sir Emeka Offor for his commitment to uplifting lives, described the celebrant as the highest donor in the eradication of polio in Africa. The governor acknowledged the current food inflation challenges in the country and praised Emeka Offor's contribution of 40,000 bags of rice to widows as an unprecedented display of public-private partnership. The governor outlined his administration's efforts in infrastructure development, healthcare, and education, and used the occasion to call on other wealthy individuals to emulate Sir Emeka Offor's generosity and contribute to the state's development. Away from that, President Bola Tinubu on Sunday said his administration was keen to make Nigeria self-sufficient in food production and become a net exporter of agricultural products through what he called aggressive mechanization. He affirmed his administration's support to give ease and succor to the 2024 Hajj pilgrims. In a statement signed by his special advisor on media and publicity, Ajurin Galele, Tinubu emphasized the importance of spiritual endeavors in nation building, vowing to support religious activities. The statement was titled, President Tinubu, We Are Determined to Achieve Food Sufficiency for Nigeria, quote in, quote out. Southeast governors have been urged to emulate Governor Chukwuma Soludo on mass infrastructural development to launch the region on the course of sustainable development. Speaking in Awka, the Vice President of Ohaneze and Ndibo Worldwide, Chief Damian Okeke Ogene, said that these would give the people more dividends of democracy. Chief Okeke Ogene noted that the governor has made visible achievements in various sectors and has intervened in areas hitherto neglected by successive administrations, including access to roads to rural communities, repositioning the education and health sectors, as well as empowering and employing youth in productive ventures to tackle unemployment and social vices. We'll take a break right now. When we return, still in Anambra State, the governor's wife, Mrs. Noye Soludo, says the growing figure of cardiovascular-based deaths call for renewed and regular medical checks and healthy lifestyle. Anambra Governor's wife, Mrs. Noye Soludo, says the growing figures of cardiovascular-based deaths call for renewed and regular medical checks and healthy lifestyle. Mrs. Soludo, who was speaking in Awka, noted that the seeming neglect by most people to go for routine heart checks has contributed to the increase in cardiovascular diseases, including heart failure and stroke. The World Health Organization reports that cardiovascular diseases are the #1 leading cause of deaths globally, accounting for an estimated over 17.9 million deaths across the globe annually. In Nigeria, deaths from cardiovascular diseases are doubling annually, basically because of poor medical checks, negligence, ignorance, and serious factors. Mrs. Soludo explained that it is important for everyone to understand that cardiovascular diseases can affect people of every age. Away from that, Israel says 2 male Israeli hostages have been rescued in Rafah as Israeli airstrikes hit the southern Gazan city. The Israeli military says Fernando Simon Maman, 60, and Louis Ha, 70, are in good medical condition. Israel says there was aerial coverage and a wave of strikes to accompany the hostage raid. One official from the Hamas-run health ministry says 48 Palestinians were killed in the strikes, and others says it is about 100. It follows warnings from the international community over Israel's planned offensive in the city, where 1.5 million people are sheltering. Israel launched its operations in Gaza after more than 1,200 people were killed on 7th of October by Hamas, who also took 253 people hostage. The Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza says more than 28,100 Palestinians have been killed and more than 67,500 injured since then. Finland's conservative former Prime Minister Alexander Stubb has won Sunday's presidential election. Final results have shown he secured 51.6% of the vote, while his Green Party rival Pekka Haavisto, the former foreign minister, had 48.4%. Mr. Haavisto has already admitted defeat. It is the first election since Finland joined the NATO military alliance. Mr. Stubb, 55, takes a hardline approach towards Russia, with which the Nordic nation shares a long land border. He had said that joining NATO was a done deal for his country as soon as Russian President Vladimir Putin launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. Thousands of Moroccans have taken to the streets in Rabat calling for an end to ties with Israel over its actions in Gaza. Some waved placards saying, "Stop the massacre," and normalization is treason. During Sunday's march, politicians from across the spectrum are reported to have been among the crowds. Morocco established diplomatic ties with Israel in 2020 under the U.S.-brokered Abraham Accords. As part of the deal, Rabat received Washington's recognition of its claim to sovereignty over the disputed territory of Western Sahara. Opposition to the agreement has grown sharply since the start of the war in Gaza. Welcome to the interesting world of sports. The men's marathon world record holder, Kenya's Kelvin Kiptum, 24, has died in a road accident in his home country. He was killed alongside his coach, Rwandan's Gaviers Hakizimana, in a car on a road in western Kenya yesterday, Sunday. Kiptum made a breakthrough in 2023 as a rival to compatriot Eliud Kipchoge, one of the greatest marathon runners, and it was in Chicago last October that Kiptum bettered Kipchoge's achievement, clocking the 26.2 miles, that's 42 kilometers, in 2 hours and 35 seconds. The two athletes had been named in Kenya's provisional marathon team for the Paris Olympics later this year. Away from that, Sebastian Haller scored a dramatic late win as a host Ivory Coast fought back to beat Victor Osimhen's Nigeria 2-1 in Sunday's Africa Cup of Nations final and complete the most remarkable of major tournament turnarounds by claiming their third continental title. Nigeria looked set to repeat their 1-0 victory over the Ivorians here at the Olympic Stadium during the group stage when Captain William Troost Ekong, who had netted a penalty to decide that first meeting, rose to head in the opener late in the first half. However, Frank Casey equalized just after the hour mark, and Hala turned in Simon Adingra's cross in the 81st minute to spark wild celebrations among the sea of orange in the Abidjan stands. Ivory Coast's success sees them add the CS title to those claimed in 1992 and 2015, while this win also allows them to join Nigeria on 3 Cup of Nations triumphs overall. Of course, the 2023 CAF Africa Cup of Nations ended last night on Sunday, on a disappointing note for Nigerians in general and even Nigerian Super Eagles, as they lost the trophy to the host nation, Ivory Coast. The Ivorians won 2-1 against Nigeria, courtesy of goals from Frank Casey and Sebastian Haller, who helped the Elephants clinch their 3rd AFCON trophy. Now, here's the full list of awards given at the AFCON. Ecobank Best Goalkeeper is Rowan Williams, South Africa. Air Cote d'Ivoire Fair Play Team Award is South Africa. Puma Golden Boots winner is Emilio Nsue from Equatorial Guinea with 5 goals. Puma Silver Boot winner is Gelson Dalla, Angola, with 4 goals. Puma Bronze Boots winner is Mustafa Mohamed, Egypt, with 4 goals. Total Energy's man of the competition is William Troost Ekong from Nigeria. Best Young Player Award is Simon Adingra, Ivory Coast. Best Coach Award is Emesa Faye from Ivory Coast. Congratulations to all of them. Congratulations to Ivory Coast for winning, and well done to Super Eagles of Nigeria, and of course to Nigerians for the support so far. With that, we come to the end of today's news hour. Let's remind you of our top stories today. We told you that the leading opposition parties on Sunday called on the federal government to make good its promise to release 102,000 metric tons of assorted grains as a short-term measure to address the food crisis in the country. Israel says 2 male Israeli hostages have been rescued in Rafah as Israeli airstrikes hit the southern Gazan city. The 2023 CAF African Cup of Nations ended last night, Sunday, on a disappointing note for Nigerians and Nigerian Super Eagles as they lost the trophy to the host nation, Ivory Coast. With that, we come to the end of today's news hour. On behalf of the entire editorial and production crew, I am Chioma Victor. Stay with us here on TV Sapiencia. Kindly be security conscious, be on the alert, whatever it is you do, ensure it is productive. Do have an amazing and beautiful week ahead of you. Stay with us.